watching the tape, all the same things I said last night. Every time it was midnight, something like that, about the same thing. Made too many mistakes in critical areas. Dead ball, fumbled the ball on the 14-yard line, 1st and 10 going in. And we throw an interception right before the half, so we lose points there. I did a presentation to the team last week about when the defense has penalties, how the scoring goes up. We gave up 6 points because of we had penalties on defense, and we got beat by 5. So there's a lot of things we're going to clean up and get back to work.
And Mike, what do you attribute to some of those uncharacteristic penalties, especially the unnecessary roughness that you guys got called for?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't talk to each one of those guys individually. I think the one on Eric Wilson was off base, really. Really the one Kendricks had, he touched the guy, he was still in bounds, hit the white stripe, and then the guy kind of took a double dive. So, Harrison's got to pull off the quarterback.
Now that you've gotten 3.5 games of watching Eric Wilson, how do you think he's done in relief of Barr?
For the most part, he's done well. I don't think last night was his best game, but the other games he's played pretty well.
Do people account for him the same way as they do Barr when he's in there, as far as like pass rushing and what they're expecting from him on the blitz?
No.
Mike, when you're evaluating players, whether it's free agents or coming out of college that maybe have a history of turnovers, what's the process like of weighing that and figuring out whether it's something you can coach out of them or whether it's just something you have to deal with?
It's all part of the process. I mean, if guys fumble, that's part of it. But guys can change. Tiki Barber had a huge fumbling problem that he ended up fixing. So it's just a process for some guys.
The struggles in the run game yesterday, do you look at that as a tough matchup on the road against a good run defense and then trailing and needing to pass, or something that you need to?
Well, I think we need to be more efficient in running the football. I do think that there's times that we need to stick with a little bit more. But I understand, it gets frustrating. You're trying to run the ball and you get a -1, and you tend to go to something that where you can get some yards, and then leads to 3rd downs usually, and you try it again and you get 2 yards, and but it's like they used to say, it could be 1-1-1-15, but you gotta keep at it, and I thought early in the ball game we ran the ball pretty well. I know that Davies had a nice run, and then so did and Dalvin had about an 8-yard run early, and the outside linebackers the 2 outside guys that they have make it a tough test for some of them. So you got to have some runs in there that you feel good about.
After watching the film, what did you really like about Anthony Harris's performance last night?
Well, he made a couple nice plays. Obviously the interception was a really nice play. The second one was, he threw it to him, but he made a nice play on the sideline and breaking up a route. And then, there's things he has to clean up as well.
Where has he grown the most?
I just think confidence. He sees things and reacts. He's a good visual player, I think. He's very smart, so he's good visually and kind of understanding what the offense is trying to do.
Michael, Kirk's 2 interceptions, was he being over aggressive in those situations where there were safety throws?
The first one was a miscommunication. The second one, he was a misread. He thought he was getting something else, and he didn't get that.
Mike, last night you said with the continual mistakes that you didn't know if it was because they weren't listening, they weren't paying attention, or they didn't care, but you would look at the tape. What did you see today? What do you think it is?
I think we had some lack of awareness on a few plays, and I pointed them out today. I've asked several players if they're listening to me or not, or if they quit listening to me. And there's not just them, I didn't ask them, did you, but did, you know, do you think these guys have stopped listening to me? And they said no.
Talk about these presentations you make during the week and with the keys to victory, when that stuff still shows up, is it surprising to you that with such a kind of experienced team in this system that you have to deal with that happening?
Not really. I mean, you know, I could say let's rush for 1,500 yards today, and you know, it's, you know, I set the goals pretty high usually on most of the things, but you know, obviously the turnovers, you know, we talked about that all week. We had to win the turnover battle, and we didn't do that. We had to take care of the football, you know, and I'm not going to get into the rest of the, you know, the things we talked about because we have to play them again.
How odd has that been this season, given you guys have been pretty good at taking care of the ball the last 4 years? How odd has it been to have to deal with some of that this year?
Yeah, it's been frustrating at times. You know, like the Saints game, you know, we're getting down there, getting ready to score, and Adam fumbles the ball, and you know, he's pretty good with it. You know, but I guess you know, stuff happens sometimes.
Kirk was saying a couple weeks ago about there's a sign, I guess it's in the quarterback's room about turnovers and then your record in the games when you have more or less. Can you elaborate? I mean, are those signs kind of all over as reminders, or what is that?
There's a lot of signs in different places, yeah. I don't know which one he's referring to actually, but I wouldn't even know the statistic on that one.
Obviously, you have a lot of confidence in Kirk, but is this a situation where you need to talk to him and say maybe stop panicking and just stay within yourself, kind of like Gabe last year?
I've talked to him, yeah. I really don't think he's panicking. I don't think that's the case at all. I think there's times when he wants to get the ball down the field, and so he'll you know, wait for guys to get open, and maybe instead of taking a sure thing sometimes. But other than the turnovers, I have a hard time following him. This kid is tough. He plays outstanding. He works his rear end off. You know, he's a great team guy, and you know, so we just need to and quite honestly, not all of them are, you know, guys are in the wrong spot sometimes too. So, and that's, you know, that's not just our team, that's every team. And so I think, you know, all those things combined make it a little bit more difficult, yeah.
Like you mentioned, some of the miscommunication with the INTs or other things that have happened in the past with some of the moving pieces in and out of this offense. Do you think they're still learning how to play together, even though we're this far in the season?
You know, I don't know if learning to play together is quite the thing. You know, we do have a lot of guys going to different spots. But you know, it might be what's the best way to say this? It might be a little volume, maybe a little too much volume.
What do you mean by that?
Too much. Just, you know, let's just play football. You know, you run a really good out route, you run the out route. He runs a good curl, you run the curl. You know what I mean? So maybe we just need to focus a little bit on not trying to trick the other team quite so much.
How much does that have to do with the new offense too? I mean, just trying to have so much in there.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, it's it always is part of it. You know, you want to add new plays every week, and new plays, and you know, if you're not executing, you know, you might be the best play in the world. You know, Vince Lombardi might have designed it, but if you can't execute it, then you know, it's not doing any good. Can't protect for it or whatever it is.
How much do you think all the pressure that Kirk's been under has contributed to some of the interceptions, just like kind of getting to him after a while?
You know, I saw that, you know, and watching the tape, I mean, there's a lot of clean pockets in there. There's a lot of clean pockets. And, you know, sometimes we hit things and sometimes we don't. I have to think back on the 2 interceptions if they were pressured or not, but, I mean, I'm not sure I know what the pressure is according to whoever's deciding it. Great.
Thanks.